71% of the world's surface is water, most of which we have barely even been able to explore. With water levels rising in the world due to global warming and catastrophes at sea being quite common, today we're looking at 5 underwater discoveries you won't believe. From hidden monuments to millions of dollars worth of treasure, let's get into it. Number 5. Underwater Train Graveyard. Now, a lot of people are obsessed with diving, and a lot of people are obsessed with trains, but it might not seem like there's any sort of overlap between the two. Good news though, if you love one and you have a friend who loves the other, then there's a place in New Jersey that you're both guaranteed to enjoy. Basically, there's a diving spot in New Jersey known as a train graveyard, where 2 steam trains sit at the bottom of the ocean rusting away. At this point, they're covered in coral and sea life, but you can still clearly make out the wheels and faces of each train. It's pretty cool, but nothing out of the ordinary. That is, until you hear the twist. Here's the thing, there's no record of the 2 trains ever being built, and no record of them ever being sunk. Not just that, but scientists and historians both have no idea how the trains could have got there, or who they belonged to in the first place. With that said, they belong to the fishes now, and I doubt there's any way of them getting back.
Discovered by Paul Kepler about 8 miles off the beach. Sitting upright on the bottom, side by side, are 2 intact 19th century steam locomotives. Only about the size of a modern-day work van, they are both, without a doubt, locomotives. As you swim front to back, you can plainly see the steam chest, piston drive arm, and the large spoke.
Number 4. Yonaguni Monument. When you think of world monuments, chances are you think of an important building or place that's been around for a long time. With that said, Yonaguni Monument off the coast of Japan was only discovered in 1987, and it's already become a pretty famous tourist attraction. Its origins are a complete mystery. The monument is actually just a collection of rocks on the seabed, but there's something strange about them. Like there are pillars and giant flat slabs, and even something that looks like a giant star-shaped platform in the center. Obviously a building from an old civilization that's been forgotten about, right? Well, it's not that easy. The thing is, there's absolutely no proof that the monument is even man-made, and most evidence points to it being a natural occurrence. At the same time, it looks way too perfect to be random, which has scientists in a complete spin about what's actually going on. Personally, I think the only explanation is like aliens, but I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments.
Yonaguni is an island located in the western edge of Japan. You can also see Taiwan from the island. In 1996, an enormous underwater structure was found in the offshore of Yonaguni. It looks like some sort of ruins. Is it an artificial or an extremely rare natural formation? Professor Kimura from Ryukyu University said this is definitely man-made.
Number 3. Manganese Balls. Now this next discovery is definitely not man-made, but that doesn't make it any less mysterious. I mean, they were actually discovered way back in 1873, but scientists still don't fully understand what they are. Known as manganese nodules, these lumps look like weird metal eggs, and they lay on the seabed in huge groups that look like they could stretch on forever. They also contain precious metals that scientists would love to harvest one day, but they have to understand them first. Luckily, we do know some things, like the fact that they could range in size from golf balls to bowling balls. Not only that, but they're seriously old, like 5 million to 10 million years old. That makes them an awesome way to measure how the climate has changed over time, since the formation of the rock and metal is changed by the temperature and other weather conditions. Mostly though, there's so much of a hassle to retrieve and study that they'll probably be a mystery for a while longer, so it's a good job they'll still be around for like a million more years to come. Number 2. The Antikythera Mechanism. Okay, if there's one thing you probably don't expect to find at the bottom of the ocean, it's a computer. In fact, the only thing more unlikely than finding a computer is finding a computer that's 2,000 years old, which is what these scientists did. Yeah, you heard me right. People were dredging the ocean when they found a computer that's way over 1,000 years old. Weird, right? Here's the story. The computer's full name is the Antikythera Mechanism, and it's what ancient Greeks used to understand the universe. By that, I mean that the computer tracked the sun, the moon, and the planets, as well as when eclipses were scheduled to occur. It even alerted the Greeks when it was time to hold an Olympics, which was one of the highlights of the calendar. It might not sound like much, but the clock-sized machine had 30 interlocking gears and was hugely advanced for the time, which made losing it a historical tragedy. Thankfully, it was accidentally recovered by some fishermen looking to catch their dinner, and scientists have kept a close eye on it ever since.
Amongst these sublime objects, the divers found an intriguing bronze item, about 20 centimeters high, which began to disintegrate as soon as it was removed from the water. From the first, scientists realized that this was a mechanism for astronomical data. Scrupulously preserved at the National Archaeological Museum of Athens with the other objects from the wreck, the mechanism aroused the curiosity of many researchers.
Okay, here's our honorable mention. Now, most of the discoveries on this list have been cool rather than creepy, but trust me when I say that this one will give you nightmares if you let it. Like a giant creepy squid with elbows and super long tentacles might sound like monsters from a sci-fi horror movie, but they're also things that live in the ocean right now. Technically called big fin squid, very little is known about the species, except that they are huge. I mean, they could reach up to 26 feet in length, and most of that is just tentacles, since their tentacles are usually 8 times as long as their heads. Between that and their weird elbow-like appendages, they're so distinctive that scientists who discovered them weren't sure they were squids at all, and they still haven't found any other species that look like close relatives. Not only that, but no adult specimen has ever been photographed, and nothing is known about their feeding habits. So basically, they could grow 3 times as big and live on a diet of humans who have drowned or been thrown overboard, and we probably wouldn't know. Happy nightmares, everybody! Number 1. NASA's Apollo 11 engines. We've already said that finding an ancient clock underwater would be a pretty surprising discovery, but it's not the strangest thing you could find. I mean, parts of the Apollo 11 moon rocket were also found at the bottom of the ocean, which I think counts as an even more random find. Like, technically, it wasn't random at all, since a team of scientists and government officials worked super hard to get the piece of history back. Still, it's funny to think that for a while, it was a home to fishes and bacteria, who had no idea they were swimming through and living on something that had literally left Earth. Anyway, the location of the rocket piece was genuinely lost until 2012, when NASA believed they had narrowed it down to the exact location. At that point, the owner of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, decided to play the hero, and personally funded the mission to get it back. I wonder what NASA had to do for that to happen. Maybe promise him a spot on the first Mars mission? And that's our list of the top 5 underwater discoveries you won't believe. Make sure to click like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Lets us know you want to see more videos like this. Don't forget to check out our last video about 10 secrets people found inside their homes. It'll make you think twice about your own home.